friends, it's Kira, and welcome to a very exciting and very cozy bookish video. Today we are going to be setting up my reading journal for 2025, and I can't wait for you guys to see how wonderful these spreads turned out. I am using this beautiful journal from Archer & Olive called the Storybook in the B5 size. I used it last year and I loved the size, so I went again with it this year. It has beautiful gold foiling and the design just seems magical to me. So grab a treat or a coffee and let's get started. For this setup, I wanted something that was cozy and magical, but with flowers and some sketchy drawings. I chose more muted tones than I usually would. For the supplies, I have some washi tapes, my wonderful Tombow markers in various shades, and some Crayola super tips, along with my favorite Pigma microns. I used two sizes this time, 8 and 2. I also have some wonderful gold gel pens and my black Tombow marker, along with this green Faber-Castell marker. For my first spread, I'm setting up my title page. It ends up just being my name. I had another title page that I did afterwards, but I ended up not liking it. So I just used some craft paper along with my black Tombow marker to write my name and used my tape dispenser thingy, I don't even know what it's called, to put my name in there. I did some simple vines and flowers on this page. I just wanted to keep it a little simple on the first page. Lastly, I added some gold accents just to make it a little bit more magical. Before going on to the second page and taping it down, it's kind of an awkward page. So moving on to my next spread, it's my bookshelf spread. I've seen this done a couple of times and I absolutely love it. I love the idea of tracking my books and making it very colorful. So I first started by going over everything with my Pigma micron in the 2 size. I just have a couple of drawings of a cloche with a mushroom, a cute little picture frame, a nice little window, and some flowers. I wanted to keep the decorations rather simple here since I'll be filling in the books and writing the titles as I complete them, so I'll go over all of this in my markers and then start coloring it in. So now that I have everything outlined, I'm going in with a Crayola super tip. I've collected a lot of them. I got the big pack and I actually really like them for journaling. They don't bleed and they have such a variety of colors. They're also very affordable, so I was excited to be able to use them in this. I went for a very warm but also slightly muted palette for this journal. Since this is going to be my yearly spreads, I wanted to keep them a little more calm since I probably will be doing more color in my later spreads, my monthly spreads. Total, I think I had room for about 125 books. That is my goal for the year, and if I need to add in any more in the unlikely event that I read that much, I'll probably just put in a tip in. I added some gold accents with my gel pen just to make it a little bit magical. I do that throughout this journal. And then finally, I used my ruler to make some circles. I will be coloring them in based on the form of reading that I've done. I did Kindle, audio, or a physical book. And finally, I put my title. I wanted to keep it simple, so I just did some craft paper and my black Tombow marker. The next spread is my reading goal spread. I like to be able to color them in and see how many books that I've read. This spread actually has room for 145 books, although I might not read that, but I have some extra just in case. I didn't use my ruler for this. I kind of wanted a sketchy, uneven quality to all of them. I just like it. And at the bottom, I put stars 1 through 5, so 5 colors. I wanted to track my star ratings this time. In the bottom corner, I decided to do a little birdhouse with some flowers just to add a little color and interest to it. And here you see me go through and add the numbers, and I messed up and I missed a row. So I go back in with a white acrylic paint marker. My white gel pen wasn't really working very well, so I let that dry and continue numbering all of the boxes. While I waited for the white paint to dry, I decided to go in and color the birdhouse and the flowers. I have about 3 flowers that I did and nothing really specific throughout the journal, but I like them. And for my title, I decided to put some craft paper, just torn craft paper, to balance out the brown in the birdhouse in the lower right corner. I moved this washi tape, I think, a million times before I settled back on it, but I decided that it needed a little bit more color in the upper left hand, so I drew in some of the same flowers and vines that are in the bottom right corner and just colored it in. And I really think it made the page, actually. And here I am putting the washi tape back where it was before. But I really love this spread. It's one of my favorites. I filled in the colors and then I wrote the numbers of the colors so I don't forget. And that's that spread. The next page I did was my yearly statistics page. I follow someone named Bethany. I'll try to link her page in the bottom. But I love her yearly spread, and so I kind of did the same thing on my page. Just a way to track all of my stats. Here you see my lighting change. I have 2 toddlers, and I was trying to do this during the day, but it just was not in the cards. We also have a new puppy, and she kept making off with my washi tape. So I finished the rest of this in the evening. And this spread, I just decided to do some simple drawings of a tea bag, a teacup, a jar of honey, and some flowers. I just wanted something interesting on the side that just is cozy and happy. The stats I wanted to track this year had a lot to do with the form of books that I read, either audio, Kindle, or if I got it from the library, how many books I had hauled or bought, along with the pages read. This year, one of my big goals is to read more books on my physical TBR. I will be doing a book video on the number of books on my physical TBR soon, but I think it's in the 300s, so I'm trying to track that and keep myself accountable by using these kinds of charts. But I just did some simple coloring, muted colors, because I'm going to have so much data on the page. I wanted to keep it pretty simple. And for my title, I decided I wanted some pink on the top, and so I went over with my Tombow marker. I will try to link the numbers in my description box. And I went over it with the other side of the pen, not the brush side, just to kind of make some definition to the letters. My next spread is a genre tracker. Last year, I tried to track the genres that I read on my bookshelf spread, and it was just way too much going on. I read quite a few genres, so I wanted a way to track and measure how many of each that I read during the year in something that was kind of visual. And I saw someone do this on TikTok. I will try to link her channel below, but I really liked it and I thought it would be fun this year. So in the corner, I just did a teacup on some books. I kind of wanted to draw some fun books in my journal, so I am mainly making boxes, and I just made them really sketchy, and I will just color in a box every time I've read one of the genres. And I made the boxes different sizes based on what I think I will read, so hopefully I've got it right. But I have thriller, fantasy, cozy mystery, horror, some middle grade, a little nonfiction this year. Again, no rulers. I just wanted it kind of free form and easy. And I drew this circle at the end of the year. I will be making a pie chart from it just to have a really quick visual representation of all of the genres that I've read. And then I go in and color code them. I will be filling them in with those colors as I read them. I didn't have enough colors that I liked on hand, so I will be filling in the rest later. The next spread is my 25 books I want to read in 2025. I recently did a long video about this on my main YouTube page, so if you'd like to see the actual books that are there and what they're about, I have that up and ready to go. But since there's going to be these pictures of the book covers, I did some very simple floral drawings on the side. And here I'm just arranging all of the titles to kind of have a balance of color. I have a lot of dark titles this year. The book covers themselves I printed out on matte sticker paper I think I got at Walmart on my regular printer, and just cut them out, and I am placing them on the page. I used Canva to take some screenshots of the book covers from Amazon or Google Images, but you can use Word as well. And And here I'm going in and starting to color. I decided to use my gold gel pen to put boxes around all of the pictures, just to frame them out and make it a little bit more interesting. I just kind of hop around between coloring and doing the boxes. I decided to put a little gold line just to kind of frame it a little bit, make it more interesting. And take my same pink marker and put the title in. And the next spread is my monthly favorites and my book bracket. I will try to put who came up with this on my page if I can find it. But I do the book bracket and I label each box for a number of the month. So it's not just kind of the same 2 books, 2 months right next to one another. But I made the lines really sketchy and just kind of easy to do. And eventually I end up with 3 semi-finalists, really. And at the end of the year, I will choose my book of the year. I used 3 colors just to color in kind of the brackets. I decided to go back to my craft paper for the title just to kind of make it a little bit more interesting on the top. And here I am putting the numbers. They're just very random. Next, I did my monthly favorite spread. I decided to combine it with the book bracket page, just so you can see the visual representation of my favorite book of each month. And I kept it relatively simple on this just because I'm going to be printing out the covers eventually and I'll put them in as I get them. But here I'm just labeling the month and filling in some simple drawings of books and another teacup. And then again, taking my pink marker and doing the title. The next spread I did was my series tracker. There are some priority series that I have this year that I want to get into, so I just wrote out the ones that I have currently. I have some room to add more later. And just did very simple kind of sketchy boxes and the number of books that are in the series. I have read some of the books already, so I'll go in and color them in as I have time. But I really like Katie is reading, and she kind of does this sort of border, so I decided to try it out for this series tracker, and I end up really loving it, especially the green and the gold. But it's very simple, and it can easily see what kind of book I'm on. And the next spread I'm doing is 12 books and 12 friends from 12 friends. I'm going to be doing a short video on that, probably posted to the short section. But I asked some friends and family to give me some book suggestions, and I have an extremely diverse array of books, so I'm very excited to get into these. But I just labeled each book with the person that suggested it and put a little checkbox by it, and then outlined them again in gold. So I have two different washi tapes here, just kind of a pink gingham and then like a little kind of a tan gingham, but I eventually replaced it with the pink because I liked it a little better. So this second spread is my wish list. As I said, I'm trying to get through my physical TBR, but I sometimes will just want to read new books, so I'm going to be doing my best to read it through Kindle Unlimited and my library. But the ones that I really, really love and eventually want to get, I'm going to write down here just so I can track them. So I just decided to do a very simple drawing of a kind of vintage teacup and some flowers and a border with my marker that I'm going to kind of outline with a like really sketchy dotted line. It's hard to see in this, but it looks great in person. And I just colored it in and did a little detail work on it. And for this title, I just did a simple flower pot with some leaves and another coffee cup. And it's a very simple title. I went back and forth on this title, but I ended up liking it. And on to my last spreads, at least in this video, and I am going to do a reading log. I normally track my books through Goodreads, and I might try Storygraph this year. But I did want a place to write it down just so I can track it easily and not have to go into my phone or my computer to look at it. So I did some really sketchy lines again, and mainly it just has the book title, the format, the author, star rating, and I believe I did the pages. I just highlighted the title just to give it a little bit more interest, but there's going to be so much writing on this page, I wanted it pretty simple. I highlighted every other line so it's just kind of easier for me to see, and I decided to do the craft paper title on this page. There are lines for over 125 books, so I should have plenty of room. I did a second page, just kind of inverted the colors with more of a tan washi tape and then pink lines. And now I'm going back to the beginning. As I said earlier, I had a cover page, but I ended up not liking it, so I had left these just in case I needed to adjust. But these are my rating systems and my reading goals page. I just did a simple border and dotted the lines around it just to make it sketchy before putting in my stars and the colors. I'm going to kind of label everything. I rate based on feeling, how much I loved a book or just didn't like it as much, so that's kind of what these little descriptions are. The next page is my reading goals page. I'm very big into measurable goals, so I have ways to track it kind of on this page and keep myself accountable. The first being how many books I've read in the month. My goal is 125. And then also my books bought versus read. I also want to read more nonfiction this year just based on my interests, so I wanted to put this in here just to kind of keep myself accountable. And I mess with this washi tape on these pages, I think, a million times. I eventually settled on this pink one, and I tried to do at the bottom, but I was bored with that as well. So I end up just sketching kind of a floral border using the flowers that I've used throughout this as well. I end up really liking it. I think it makes the first pages very fun and colorful, but not too overwhelming. I decided my reference page needed a little bit something, so I did the same flowers just kind of as a little border to kind of balance it out. And that's the end of my spreads. We'll just do a quick flip through of all of my finished pages. I absolutely love my journal this year, and I had so much fun setting it up. I'm hoping that having such a pretty, fun thing to do will keep me more encouraged to read and add to this. I plan on doing monthly setups where I do my monthly TBR and a bit of a theme every month that fits this kind of cozy, magical. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun with this, and I hope to see you in future videos. I try to post a couple of times a week, so I really hope to see you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful end of the year.